I have retinitis pigmentosa Usher syndrome type 2, which affects both my eyesight and my hearing. I have tunnel vision, night blindness, some color blindness, and visual acuity, but I'm also about 70% deaf. So I'm being hit from two sides of disabilities. Since it's a hereditary situation, my father and my older brother were ahead of me, so I had a pretty good idea what was coming. And as I got older and I began to realize that the bullet wasn't going to miss me, that I was going to have to face it, I started becoming familiar with some of the ATs that my father used, particularly closed-circuit television, video magnifiers. He made it possible for me to slowly get used to the idea that assistive technology existed, but he didn't make a great deal of use of it. When I was certified legally blind back in '99, I had to really face a lot of issues about the kind of work I was doing, because I used to be a graphic designer. I worked with a lot of high-tech software like Photoshop, Quark, PageMaker, Adobe Illustrator, freehand. And I realized that my future in graphic design was limited, that I was probably going to start running into real problems I couldn't get past. I didn't understand at the time that there was assistive technology, computer-related technology, that would probably have extended my graphic career several years. So I had to make some drastic changes in my life. When I lost my last graphics job, I finally decided it's time to face it. So I worked with the Department of Rehabilitation, and my rehab counselor, Karen Gamble, who is also Deborah Whittier's counselor, who helped me get into a school for the blind in Los Angeles and get some assistive devices that would help me go back to work, to find a vocation, how to get trained for it, and to go back to work. And I have to say that without assistive technology, it would not have been possible, because it not only made it possible for me to communicate, which is probably one of the most fundamental, essential life functions there is to be able to communicate electronically or personally, by print. Assistive technology helped me in all three ways. So it made it possible for me to not only get the training I needed, but to be able to communicate with people and to look for work and then to find a job. And I have to say that the very fact that I'm working for the Access Center of San Diego is directly related to the fact that I was familiar with AT. When people are dealing with a disability, whether it's something that's been creeping up on them for years or it's sudden, like an accident or a disease, it changes their whole lives. It makes things difficult that you took for granted in the past. The general public still has difficulty understanding what disability can do to people. And the general public does have a tendency to turn a blind eye to it. But a person with a disability still has feelings, they still have needs, they have ambitions. Assistive technology is one of millions of different types of, it is a version of a tool that can make all the difference in the world. Somebody can go back to school, can go back to work, can take care of themselves, can do things for themselves around the home, can get around by themselves. It's all about independence. It's all about being able to do for yourself, so that you're not a burden on anybody else, but that you can be part of society and provide for yourself and to take care of others who need it even more than you. So assistive technology is a tool, but it's probably one of the most important tools there is, because without the abilities to do the things for ourselves, life can be so frustrating you may not feel like living it. And that's a crime. That's not the way you want to live. You want to be able to be happy to do things for yourself. Assistive technology has changed my life. It's changed a lot of people's lives. It's very simply one of the best things that there is, and it's always getting better.